Hello guys, it's Sendou here again. So today what we have is something special. So I saw many people request that I would do like sort of like a tier list video. And that's gonna be what we have today. But first, before we start, I have a couple notes. First of all, this is all just my opinion. Just what I have seen, what I have experienced. And just, overall, this is one person. I have very limited experience with the game. So don't expect me to know everything perfectly. Also, if you're gonna get upset about seeing your weapon, not very would expect it to see, then maybe this is not the video for you. It's just like I said, it's just my opinion. Like, it's not the truth. It's not anything to be upset about. It's gonna be about 4 ranked modes, but again, like I said, the very limited experience strikes here where I don't really know yet what Clan Blitz meta would be, but I'm trying to have some educated guesses on that. And yeah, we have really 4 different tiers, and then 1 tier above them all, but it's kind of like the upper tier, really, just plus. So we have C, B, A, S, and S plus. C, I marked this unviable. So these weapons, in my opinion, if you have them in your team comp, it's not gonna work most commonly. And even if it does work, it's commonly because you're outmatching the opponent by a lot, or just, your team is making like huge adjustments for you. First we have a carbon roller. In this game, this weapon is, well, I'm not really think too highly of it. It really lacks in painting, it lacks in killing, it doesn't have burst bomb to do much of anything basically. I guess the kit is kinda nice, but doesn't really do much for the weapon. Then we have 4 E-liters, which is, yeah, well, in this game, E-liter is, I don't really think too highly of it. I see some really good E-liter players, I play with them, play against them, I don't really see them do too much with the weapon most commonly. Common problem with all the long range weapons in this game, and why they are so low on the list commonly, is because you can't really push up with them. But on the other hand, the map design isn't really favoring long range weapons at all. So it's kind of like this awkward spot where they don't really have a role, they don't really ink, you can't really kill with them. Very often the kits are bad, like with E-liter, I don't think the kit is, any of them are really amazing. Not really the perfect kit, like Splatoon 1 you have Burst Bomb, Echo, which was so strong. But here we have these 2 bodies have a ink mine, which is kind of do you really want this? These 2 bodies have beacons, do you really want this? I don't know. That's a really bad place in the game right now. Then we have flinxer rollers, it's kind of the same as carbon. I don't really just see it, it doesn't kill, it doesn't ink. The kits are interesting to say at least, with splash wall on the flinxa vanilla edition, I believe. It's just I don't know what they're thinking sometimes. Gluga, I believe the most recent new weapon at the game. But again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but the kit is of course a huge factor here. Short range weapon with the ink mine is always really. But even other than that, it's just the actual weapon doesn't really feel it has the gimmick of having the 96 range, but with basically no RNG and 2 shot kill, which is pretty nice of course, but the dodge mechanism, the way it works for this duelist in my experience is not really impactful. You are very clunky and you have a lot of end lag after a roll and so on. And Hydra, kinda the same thing as E-liters with the long range weapons. Also the kit, I said this before, but Splashdown on Hydra, are you serious? When you use Splashdown on Hydra, typically after that you're so vulnerable. It's not like Spider Shot where you can continue off the Splashdown. It's more you're in the middle of things and everything's gonna be going wrong from that on. And yeah, there's gonna be repeating theme on this list, is that we're gonna have a lot of it is gonna be me saying the kid is this, the kid is that. Well, that's how this game is because sometimes you want the certain special or the certain sub weapon, and then you have to consider which weapons have it, and typically not so many, so then you have to make a choice. And that of course can raise your lower weapon on this list. But just to move to the next tier. So B, I marked as low tier. These weapons are typically, you can definitely make them work. Like many of these weapons have seen good players who like almost exclusively play them, but they have serious limitations. It might be that they do one thing really well, but other thing very horribly, or they do many things on just like an average level. And even if you run like, one or two of the weapons from this tier, typically you have to compensate by playing more like, higher tier weapons or whatever. But yeah, just to start, we have Aerospray, Silver and Golden Edition. Aerospray, yeah, it had a brief time in the spotlight in this game, but even now it's like decent support weapon, I guess. It like inks, I guess, like Sprinkler, Baller, that's I guess pretty good for what you want for support weapon. Silver Aerospray, lowest, like quickest bombers in the game, so you can't really ignore that. That's actually really nice. I could see this weapon actually go up in Duelist, funnily enough, but I have to see it before I can do it. But right now I'm just sticking it here to be. Bamboozler, very map dependent. I think Curling Bomb can be nice. I actually like Curling Bomb a lot as a special, sub-weapon. Missile is not typically what you want, but still it's a pretty nice weapon, and it's pretty surprising how fast it can kill you sometimes. But doesn't think. And even when you have to kill, like it's actually one of the hardest weapons in the game to actually kill with, because you have to like charge, then you have to hit them once, and then you have to follow them up and hit them the second time. So that, in my opinion, is like the hardest weapon in the game to kill with, basically. Skiffer, but another thing, you have to take a lot of risk with this weapon. Like you go in, and you have to be taking a lot of risk to play this weapon. It has really nice kit. But yeah, like I've seen people do really well with this, but typically the risk end up costing you games that you have to take thanks to like short range. We have a Custom Junior, and we can also talk about Splatoon Junior, which is over here. Yeah, not really the weapon you wanna kill with. It inks really well. The kits are really nice, but I feel like there are better options, which is why they're so low. Like, definitely a reasonable choice, but just in relation to what we have are better options, I don't really see too much use for them right now. Dualist Squelchers, I think the main weapon actually is decent, but the kit with missiles is not what we want here, so that's why it's so low. And I think point sensors, like, I think the kit with Spat Bomb and Ink Armor could actually be a lot better, but right now I think it doesn't have much use at all. Custom Blaster, well, I should talk about blasters in general. Like, every blaster in this game is quite low because Ink Armor is so popular right now, and Ink Armor is really bad for blasters, so blasters are lower. But Custom Blaster, why it's lower than other blasters, I just don't really think too highly of the kit. Like Auto Bomb, Custom, Inkjet, like it was pretty nice when the game first came out, but right now I don't really think too highly of Inkjet in general, and Auto Bomb, I don't even like it over Toxic Mist. It doesn't really do much when people have the muscle memory to set them off and so on. Like, it's an okay sub weapon, but yeah, that's why it's so low. Dynamos, Dynamo used to be toppest of them all in Splatoon 1, but now it's kind of like in a bad place. Doesn't really ink as much as it used to, doesn't really kill as much as it used to. Hits are super nice with Stingray and armor, but yeah, right now the main weapons just isn't too impactful, which is why you have to put them so low. Like in Splatoon 1, when you challenge a Dynamo, you almost always die. In Splatoon 2, you challenge a Dynamo, you almost always live because they're so clunky to use and kill with. And sometimes they just don't randomly deal damage, like it's a really weird weapon right now. Then we have Chargers here, so Spedoscope and Firefin Spedoscope. So they are lower than the no-scope alternative. I'm gonna talk about the weapon itself more the next year, but why they're lower is because I don't think scope is as good as no-scope. Because you can be more aggressive with no-scope, basically that's basically the short version. Good Uber, yeah. everyone's favorite meme weapon. I guess it's okay on some maps. Like I could definitely see it. Splashdown. It's kind of like the same thing with Hydra. It's not really the natural fit. I believe Suction Bomb is, on the other hand, a lot better fit for the weapon. You can really like, also have an Inkin alternative. And, it's the same as Bamboo and Skipper. You can get some surprising kills with it, but had to take a lot of risk that really put it down, in my opinion. H3. Oh, I actually like the main weapon a lot, but like I said, missiles, not really a huge fan, and point sensors, even less of a fan, so that's why it's here. But it's a weapon with a lot of potential. Again, second kit should be a lot better with ink armor and the sprinkler ability. Ink brush, okay, so they only here because of clamplets, I'm not gonna lie, but I do honestly see the potential for clamplets. Baller weapons are also higher now than I would have put them like 2 weeks ago, thanks to clamplets. And Splashdown as well is kind of like the same principle. But just getting the mobility that brushes allow is pretty interesting, so that's like the niche right now, but of course lacking killing, lacking turfing. What can I say? Jet Squelcher. Main weapon is it is like not bad, just not really hitting anyone in fire. Krakon. Yeah, well, it's a better beacon weapon than custom meter, that's for sure, but other than that, like it really like has the same limitation as other rollers with not really inking well, and you have to really go in to get kills, but the kit doesn't really allow you to get in, unlike the other roller, so that's why it's here. Clash. I was almost putting it to A tier. Stingray is really nice, it allows you to go in, like the low range, but yeah, not really the meta for it, really. Mini, oh I love this weapon, this hurts me so badly, but you can't really play too aggressive with it in my experience. It could be A tier maybe, it's kinda like in the middle again. But yeah, missile is not the best thing. Burst bomb is okay, I guess. But the biggest thing is that sometimes it's really hard for you to go in with it, so that's why it's here. Brush, same thing as rollers, has some serious problems with going in. The kit itself is not the best right now, I don't think, like I explained about the ink chat. But still, I've seen some players do really well with it, just most commonly against teams that play heavy paint control and some range, it's a really hard time for Octobrush. Sloshers, kits are weapon is it's like chat. Maybe patch from now we can see Slosher Deco in the meta in Splat Zones and Lamplets, but right now I just don't see them. Splash Show, some people rate it higher than I do, but I personally don't see it, mostly because ink chat. But it's like a nice support-ish weapon if you wanna like run ink chats, so I guess it's like a nice alternative to have. Dualies. I was kind of like hesitant to putting it to B, but again missiles, so I'm gonna talk about Dualies next year more. Spatoscope, we talked about. Sploosh, yeah, well it's just fast splashdown, you get around fast, I mean, I guess it's B. Then the Umbrella. Interesting, like I don't know where to put this exactly. Problem here is that I need to be able to see it more, but I think it has potential to be way higher than I put it now. It has Bubble Blower Beacon, really nice kit, like I explained for Clamplets on Twitter one day, but I have to be able to see it more. Like the main weapon isn't still like too convinced. I'm not too convinced about the main weapon, but it's really nice. And to move up to the next tier. So A tier. We finally reached the good weapons. Well, not really. Yeah, high tier. So these are the weapons that you more commonly would want to run in like actual competition. But again, these are weapons that you don't necessarily like wanna go all out with, like with these weapons. You definitely can, and it can work. But these weapons still have like notable shortcomings, or even if they do one thing really good, they don't do other things only like on a mediocre level, or so on. But 52 gal, on the rise because of clan plates. Really nice main weapon. Pretty weird kit. But it's on the rise and high hopes for 52 deco. 96. Ink armor really nice. I think 96 is really good place right now. Sprinkler. The kit is really nice for like Splatoon type of play. Blaster, well, like I explained, Blaster is an overall lower, but Toxic Mist Blast Down, I think it's really nice. And with the buffs that reduce the end lag, I think it's in a good place actually. Even in this ink armor meta. Jet. Custom jet. Well, like I explained, the main weapon is like but then we have Burst Bomb with Stingray, and that's suddenly like the best kit in the game, so that's fights in day. Double Duelist, well, you know, I made a whole video on Double Duelist, so. But I think best beacon weapon in the game has to be. Gets around fast, thinks fast, bomb rush. I think it's a good weapon for if you want beacons, probably choose doubles. Emperor is. But it's the same thing, if you want inkjet, if the map is something you want inkjet for, then Emperor is a really good choice, gets around fast. Actually, the Duel is in pretty good place now, like people just need to learn how to play them better. I think. Charters. Well, charters are like I definitely see some teams like do really well with a charter. And the kits are really nice. I mean, Stingray, Bombers, like those are like good specials. But doesn't think has problems going in, even with no scope has problems going in, of course. So that's why no S tier. Heavy Spattling, Heavy Deco. Well, Bubble Blower, I should explain to you right now. I think Bubble Blower is one of the best specials in the game right now in some modes. Clan Blitz, definitely one of the best specials. In other modes as well. So that's why we have a Heavy Deco here. I think it's the best, second best Bubble Blower weapon in the game right now. Heavy Spattling still with Stingray, not the worst option. I think they allow you to go a bit more in than maybe Spatoscope. Like you can still like play pretty aggressively with them. They ink more than charters, so that's like a buff or like bonus over them. I'm very impressed with this weapon really. I'm surprised we don't see it more often. L3 is like a support option you can have if you want like baller, you know, a lot of ballers, then L3 is your guy. So that's why it's here. Luna, it's more like map dependent baller option if you want for Clan Blitz or something, but I think it's a pretty good place right now. Splat Bomb Baller is really good kit for Luna, I always believed so, and I still do. Well, here we have the orange chap. I mean, the weapon is like literally, if you want missiles, just run orange chap, I guess. It's not as good kit as the great chap, but you know, it still has the chap advances. Rabbit Blasters are pretty good in this meta, I think. Pretty good at dealing with ink armor. But just that. Also have problems going in sometimes. Hits are okay. That's pretty much that. Splat Roller, I think I'm a bit surprised how good Splat Roller is in this game. But the kit really allows you to play really aggressive. You have Curling Bomb, you have Splashdown. That really allows you to play actually very aggressively. So that's actually quite something. So bro, I think this weapon is like, you know, the weapon actually is, it's just like a bit over like passable. Like I'm not too hot on the weapon itself, but Rain Cloud is super nice to have sometimes. Spatter shots, always kind of hard to place. They're so popular, but I feel like the popularity has more to do with how all arounder and how neutral they are and how like long the routes are for people that play them. Kits are really nice, as we know. The main weapon kind of suffers from this meta, I think. That's my current belief. So, we finally got our way up. An S tier, top tier. Top tier weapons, you should be seeing this pretty often, because in my opinion they are the best weapons in the game. Really little amount of any like shortcomings. Typically do one thing maybe best in the game, is why they are here, or do several things really well. But that's like the main thing here. So, Umbrella. Kinda hard to place. I actually put it to A already, but then I gave it a raise. So, still like I think the best, like one of the like best inking weapon, and still like the, even after the nerfs, some of the weapons you can really use to support your team with turf the best. So that's sort of like a really nice thing to have. And the shield mechanism allows you to go aggressive as well. Forge. Well, I explained about the bubbles. I think Forge is the best bubble floor weapon in the game, so that's why we have the Forge here. Machine. I think best stingray weapon in the game. It's the only one that really allows you to go in. That's not clash, so that's why it's here. Stingray is so important for tower control and Raymaker, so that's why I think Slosher Machine is definitely on the top. Tri-slosher, well, I think tri-slosher is actually like, you know, the only really like more like slaying focused in-karma alternative. So in-karma, as I explained, is really strong in this meta, and tri-slosher is your man if you wanna like be going in, and burst bombs allow you to deal with other people in-karmas a bit better, I think. So that's why we have tri-slosher up here. Range. It was a hard choice. I already put it to A, but whatever, I gave it to race. It's kinda hard time for this weapon in this meta, but it still has insane killing power, killing potential in relation to turfing, so that's why we have Brain Splash up here. And well, we reached the end of the road. S plus, even more top tier, god tier. So basically weapons that you see people stack a lot, that are really dominating meta, that people have to think around a lot. And in my opinion, there's only one weapon that fits the bill here. I don't know if you can guess it. I'd be really surprised if you can't, but yeah, we have n-zap 85. So n-zap 85 is something that I myself picked up instead of Brain Blaster, just to, you know, think about like getting a turfing alternative. Really, like, how many options do you have? And then you look at like n-zap. I made a whole video on this, and everything I said there still applies. But it's just a weapon you can do so many things with. Like, I see n-zaps that kill are like insane amounts, but n-zap also that turf insane amounts. The kit is like perfect for both ends. And yeah, I recommend watching the video I did on the 4 strongest weapons in 2.0. I think it's still like pretty. Everything I said is still like pretty, like still it still like applies. But I think right now n-zap is on top of them all. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Please let me know what parts you disagreed with, and if you have any questions or clarifications you wanna ask from me, then go ahead. If not, then yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time.